Welcome back to Stay at Home. During these rather difficult times, there are a lot of us who wish we had the ability to probably see into the future. Joining me is Tariq, who has plenty of experience of trying to work out what will happen, and he's keen to stress that good things can come from bad situations. Tariq, thank you very much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
So tell us, what do you see really coming out of this pandemic?
A lot of good things will come out of this pandemic, but before we look at the pandemic in one item, which is the virus, I think there are three pandemics going on. There's a pandemic of the virus, but there's also a pandemic of fear and despair creeping in, and a pandemic of isolation and loneliness. And we have to handle all of these things together. So when we look at the future, we have to anticipate the future. And we have been trained and developed to become linear thinkers. We believe the past represents the future rather than the future represent the future. So we have to be exponential thinkers, and that's the difference. And this is the basis and the fundamental essence of how we look into the future, and we'll tell the trends that are coming.
Right.
One little thing, which would be really important to mention, after the Black Death in the Middle Ages, we had the Renaissance. After the Spanish flu in 1919, we had the Roaring Twenties, the Treaty of Versailles. After the World War II, we had the Reconstruction and the Bretton Woods conversation, United Nations, World Bank, and so on. After 29, we had Airbnb and all WhatsApp, and Instagram. So what I'm saying is that these are trends, and we can anticipate these trends. So now, if we take from there and bring it to today, what are the good things that are happening as far as this COVID crisis is concerned? The planet is much healthier than it used to be before.
Definitely, yeah.
Our family relationships are getting better. We are being more connected with family, and so we are going back to basics. That's really important.
But it's a bit virtual, don't you think so? We are becoming closer, but virtually.
Virtually, yes. That's a different kind of connection, but the human connection with the family and our loved ones, I think that works really well. You know, what we've got is a complete clean out. It's a new set of rules. So I think of ourselves as a little caterpillar who wants to become a butterfly. So it goes into this chrysalis, into this pupa, and then liquidizes itself and reproduces a beautiful, bright, colorful butterfly. That's the life, that's where we are at this moment in time. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity where we can redefine ourselves without any rules of the game, because the rules are fundamentally changing. Other good things, like next time you want to buy a Hermes bag or an expensive car or a Rolex watch, you'll be thinking twice.
Right.
Because we'll be saving more money. Because that is a social behavior that's going to change.
Right.
So our consumption-driven society is fundamentally going to change. And I think some of these things are really very good and fundamentally will help us.
So how do you think the economy is going to come out of this, and how smoothly will it come out of this pandemic?
I think the word smooth is not appropriate right now. The way we look at the economy is in blocks in terms of scenario planning. We do a lot of scenario planning. If this thing finishes in 3 months, then it'll be like a broken leg or a broken arm. It'll hurt and whatever, but we'll find a way to get out.
Right.
If it lasts 6 to 9 months, which is the most likely scenario, in which case a lot of things are going to happen. Companies are going to go under, banks will default, people won't be able to pay their bills.
Right.
Airlines, for example, by the end of the year, something like 70 to 80% of the world's airlines will have either reduced below 50% or gone bust. So it's a fundamental shift. And the third scenario is if this thing lasts more than 12 months. Now, in that case, the rules are different. So your question was, when can we come out? There is no magic wand. There is no, I wish I had a beautiful little ball that I could look into and tell you exactly when. It'll happen intermittently. It'll happen one step at a time. Some industries will respond much faster. I think industries will come in at 30%, 40% of the time, and then slowly the economy will evolve. I think the Dubai government has done a really great job in building what I would call social capital and social trust, a sense of connection, a sense of belonging, participation. The recent survey that is being done by the Dubai Economy Department, which is asking business people what they think, how will they survive, what will they go under,
that is the big question.
What are their...
That is the big question.
That's a huge... Yeah, it's a huge question. And the great thing about the UAE government at the moment is actually asking the real people the real questions. And I think that's a very, very positive thing to look at. Because Sheikh Mohammed wants to get out of this as fast as possible. He said, let's build a social capital. And this social capital is, you know, we have electricity, we have water, our shops are full, our supply chain is working. This builds trust. And the future thesis of how opportunity is going to be developed is going to be based on trust, on safety, and consistency. So these are the kinds of things. So look at businesses, will they come back? Social distancing will still be there. I think is there for the foreseeable future. We will change our habits. The restaurant business will go down 50-60%, very likely. So we will have kitchen as a service. We will have kitchen as a service. I mean, the whole philosophy of restaurants may be changed.
Right.
Maybe the restaurants will move to our homes. The people will actually come in and provide us a beautiful gloved service.
Or maybe we all will become better cooks at the end of this.
We will certainly become better cooks. But the whole business is that, and I think the whole philosophy, and I wanted to talk about this, is built around trust. We need to build trust. So, for example, travel will not happen until there is trust.
Right.
It just won't happen. So both sides, both governments need to trust each other, both airlines need to trust each other, that the people on the plane are COVID-free. So we need to build that kind of trust. Now, trust is not just simple information.
Right.
Take health, for example. In the next 6 to 12 months, we will have maybe a chip in our skin
would be very realistic, to monitor our health. Tariq, thank you very much. We're out of time.
Health passport.
Thank you very much, Tariq Qureshi, a futurist. Pleasure to have you on the show, and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Cheers. Bye.